walk into a studio, there's 3 walls and a mirror. And you just create.
7 and.
As a choreographer, you hold the power of the energy of the space. I don't know where my really strong musical inclination comes from. Choreography has always been musical instinct, wanting to move when I hear a piece of music. I think that I was a musician, a conductor, something involving music in a past life. I studied at the School of American Ballet. As a young dancer, wanting to be a part of the New York City Ballet, it's always represented this distant dream. I started exploring choreography when I was 14 or 15. My story is a bit rare and a little surreal. As an 18-year-old choreographing my first piece for New York City Ballet, being in these high-pressure situations, I had to completely operate on my gut. I still, to this day, make work based on my heart, just very intuitively.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7.
My
8,
piece is
1.
called Signs, originally commissioned for the School of American Ballet. Music by Philip Glass. I've always had a connection to my spirituality that manifested itself in signs from the universe. When my grandfather died, I noticed a dragonfly for the first time. Whenever I think about him, they follow me everywhere. The piece is an ode to those signs that have kept me going. Oh wait, I'm going the wrong way. Hold on. Wait, go back. Having made the piece on students and now setting it on professional dancers,
There's kind of like a moment where you let go.
it feels kind of like a new piece. This is my 4th fall gala. This one is particularly different. My previous 3, I've worked with high fashion designers on new costumes, which is fantastic. I'm just excited to present a very stripped down version of myself and my work.
I don't know why, but I feel highly emotional every time I hear the cello. This cello concerto pulls you up into this bliss and then dives you right down deep into the earth. You know, where it's never kind of the same. Every day kind of changes. It's just so organic, you know, like the ocean. Music is very much a part of the culture that I grew up in. I grew up in a big family back home on Guam, half Filipino, half Chamorro, and I kind of was always surrounded by music and dance. The dancers in front of me are a massive contribution to the process.
Up through the center.
You know, I think that's the interesting part, is finding my movement quality and seeing the dancers in front of me and then meeting somewhere right in the middle. And it feels like them and still feels like me.
The part that I really want to see is this part. Yeah, so we're like putting our head right on top of Gilles Bustier.
Gilles Mandel has been a fantastic collaborator.
Connection with the skirt.
And I just fell in love with the lines of his dresses. I just absolutely loved and thought it felt so perfect for ballet.
It has a tendency to go more in. Well, to check, but if we can go maybe an inch further down that way, it would be better. Okay.
And he came up with this idea of a bustier. There's something with the resistance of playing with movement and pushing against it that I thought would be really interesting. The dancers at New York City Ballet, you can literally ask them to do anything, and they're pretty fearless. It's my favorite part. I couldn't create this world without those collaborators.
I love looking out and seeing those jewels. This is my favorite stage to dance on. It's home. My life is coming across the street and kind of living in the theater. I mean, we're here all day long. Going on my 20th year in the New York City Ballet. And I'm a principal dancer, but also a choreographer. The New York City Ballet asked me to choreograph for the company. I was so excited. I remember I hung up the phone and yelled, "Roland, I'm choreographing for the New York City Ballet." And then immediately called my mom and dad. The music is the most important part of my choreographic process. And with Concerto for Two Pianos, it was so almost easy in a sense because I had this wonderful music just driving me. I really didn't have time to prepare. My father had passed away a week and a half before my first rehearsal day. The dancers knew it was a hard time for me, and so I felt like when I stepped in the studio, I had their full attention. They were willing to do like anything for me. There was so much love and respect in the whole process. Just kind of poured out of me. We got our first draft within like 10 days. I like to think my dad was watching over me, helping me. So I dedicated it to him. Out of the 20 years I've been here, I've never had a choreographer ever in pointe shoes.
That's right. So we go 7, 8, low, 1, 2, and a 3, and 4. Yes. 5 and 6 and 7. Cross the leg and arabesque. 1, 2, and 3. Yes.
I could show like how careful and how important it is to use the feet. I could not only explain it, but show it.
Just making sure we don't have like space.
The main thing I wanted to do was make something that the dancers wanted to dance, that would push them and that would make them look amazing. I think I did all three of those things. I feel like I've kind of grown up in the New York City Ballet. So many of the masterpieces that have lived on are the ones that use the classical vocabulary, the ones that Balanchine and Robbins created, and they don't look dated at all. I really want to pay tribute to that legacy. I want to keep classical ballet moving forward.
Never in my life did I think I'd be able to do something like this. I really wanted to see how full I could make the work, especially the size of that stage. You know, I've never made a work for a stage so large. So I think it's trying to do the music justice as fully as I possibly could.
This is the first program in New York City Ballet history that includes all female choreographers. To be a part of it in that way has been super special.